Hello, friends. Welcome back. We are wrapping up our month focused on meal planning. My name is Casey. I'm from Anchored Women, and all month long, we've been talking about how to streamline and simplify your meal planning process with our favorite tips, our favorite hacks. If you missed any of those videos, make sure you go back and check them out. You can find them all here on our channel. But today we are doing a Q&A of the most frequently asked questions I get when it comes to meal planning. I surveyed our audience. I asked what questions, like what burning questions do you have for this meal planning process? And really everything could kind of be categorized into five very similar questions. So we're going to talk through all of those today, give you my best answers, and I would love to hear if you have any ideas to help answer these questions. Tell us in the comments below. Meal planning is one of those things that is really fun to collaborate on together because everybody has such different ideas and we all can learn from each other. So, without further ado, let's dive in. Question number one was, how can I make a meal plan that is flexible in case our plans change? I hear this so often. I want a meal plan, but our week isn't predictable. We can't stick to the meal plan that I've made. And that's where I want to encourage you to, instead of looking at it like a meal plan, I want you to think of it like a meal ideas list. Whether you're making it by the month or you're making it by the week, instead of assigning each meal to a day, you can just make a list of meals that you could possibly make this week. You can shop for the ingredients. And then as each day comes, you can pick a meal off that list in order to figure out kind of what fits best for your day that day. Maybe your day cleared up and you have a lot of extra time. So you can cook one of your more complicated meals that you've planned for the week. Or maybe all of a sudden, probably more likely, a whole bunch of stuff got added to your day and you need to revert to one of your easier meal plans. Or meal ideas. That's totally fine. There are no meal planning police that say, hey, if you scheduled chicken for Monday, you better cook chicken on Monday. It doesn't really work like that, right? So you have the flexibility there. One of the things I love to do, we talked about this last week, is create this season or this monthly meal plan according to theme days. And I'll put the dates over here sometimes, but not all the time. Sometimes what I'll actually do is just write in all the ideas and I just cross off the idea once I've used it. So that kind of helps, at least for flexibility. Don't feel like you have to plan everything out by the exact day. Instead, give yourself a list of meal ideas, grocery shop for 7 meal ideas once a week, and then you can kind of plug in where they go. I just said 7. I'm going to change that to 5. 5 meal ideas once a week. You want a day for leftovers, and you might go out to eat one evening, right? Possibly. We always go out Sunday after church. So, those are my best tips for making it flexible. Remember, you're in charge of the meal plan. You get to change things around when you want. All right, question number 2. I like to do a monthly meal plan, but that doesn't always help in using the things that I already have. So what are the best ways to use up what's in the fridge and the freezer? You know I have an answer for this. This is where we use our Eat What You Got method. You might use it for a full week. You might use it just one day a week. But this is where you list everything out that you have in your fridge, your freezer, and your pantry so that you know what you have in stock. And then you take these ingredients once you can see them on the page and you start pairing them up together to create meals for the week, meals for just that day, whatever it might be. But I like to keep this. If we're having a lot of times we'll do this, like I said a couple weeks ago, we'll do this at the end of the month when things are just a little more tight. And you can keep this right on your fridge. So I know, hey, I've got all of this stuff in the fridge, the freezer, and the pantry. I've come up with these ideas of things I can make. And as I make them, I cross them off the list so that I know they're not there anymore. That is the best way I know how to use up all of that stuff in the fridge and the freezer. Another thing you might do for that is instead of using it for dinners, take your inventory and figure out what can I make for lunches that will go for multiple days. Maybe you're going to make you have ground beef in the freezer and stuff to make taco bowls, and so you're going to make taco bowls for the whole week. I love taco bowls. I make them almost every week. I am a creature of habit. Not everybody is, but you can take those ingredients not just for dinners but for lunches too, and that way you're using up everything that you've already bought, spent your hard-earned money on, and really want to use before it goes bad. All right, question number 3. How do I make a thorough enough plan that I'm not always running back to the store? I love this question. How many of us go to the store 2 or 3 times a week because, oh, we just forgot that one ingredient, right? It happens. So what I like to do is I will write out my meal list for the entire week. Often I will put it in my planner. I will show you. I'll have just a spread like this, and I'll write out breakfast, lunch, and dinner for every single day. And then what I will do, now for a lot of times breakfast is like the same all week long. That's fine. But what I will do is just have it written out. In that case, it looks like I'm assigning it to a specific day, but I don't always stick with that. The idea here being, I just want to list out the meals that I'm going to be making this week. And then once I have that all listed out, I can kind of go through the ingredients in my head and I write them down on my shopping list. These shopping lists come inside of our Anchored Women meal planner, and that is an entire meal planner for your entire year. It uses all the strategies we've talked about this month. It's my favorite. But this shopping list is already categorized by the sections of the store. So I just drop my ingredients onto this page. I rip it out of my meal planner and I take it with me to the store. That way, I look at every single meal idea. I drop the ingredients that I know I don't have onto here. And then I'm only going to the store once. I'm making sure to get everything because it's all organized by section. Just makes it so easy. All right, 2 more questions. Question number 4 is, it's just me. Meal planning for one feels really hard. How do I do this without wasting a bunch of food or eating out all the time? Again, such a great question. We have a lot of women in our community who are just planning for one. And sometimes I know that makes it really easy to eat out or to eat conveniently, but you absolutely can meal plan for one in kind of a creative way. I will say I meal plan for 4 people. We've got 2 kids and it's me and my husband, but I plan lunches just for myself. So a lot of times what I will do is I will decide on something that I know I would like to eat I really enjoy this meal. I do a lot of bowls, Mediterranean bowls, taco bowls. I do like 3 different versions of Mediterranean bowls. I really like those. But what I'll do is I will cook up everything that I need for the whole week. So a bunch of rice, a bunch of meat, chop up all my veggies, and I will create in my little containers lunches for every day of the week. Dinner, if I was planning dinners for myself, it would be dinners for every day of the week. And so I'm making everything once, but instead of feeding 4 people, I'm feeding myself over 4 days. Does that make sense? So if you're the kind of person that's like, I cannot eat the same thing for dinner every night for a whole week, that's totally fine. That is my personality. I know it's not everybody's. So what you can do is maybe you keep 2 of them in your fridge to use this week, and the other 2 you freeze to bring out another week. And if you do this for 2 or 3 weeks in a row, then you'll always have some individual thing in the freezer that you can easily pull out, reheat, and have a really delicious dinner. So, although I know it's not my current stage of life, that is the way I plan for my own lunches, and it works really, really well for me. So I hope that encourages you as far as meal planning for one. All right, last question. How do I know what to make ahead or meal prep each week? I know I should meal prep, but I don't know how to do it. Okay, I'm gonna get on my soapbox here for a second and say, again, there are no meal planning police. So I don't think that you have to meal prep if you don't want to. That's okay. If you enjoy cooking fresh every day, you don't need to feel the pressure to meal prep just because a lot of the people that you follow on Instagram do it. It's okay. You do what works for you and your family. I do like to meal prep because I have a lot more time on the weekends than I have during the week. So I actually have a worksheet that helps me a lot. And this is in the free meal planning cheat sheets that I have for you. I'll drop the link again below. But we have just this simple meal prep worksheet. And what I will do on here is ask myself these 2 questions. Number 1, what meals can I prepare ahead of time this week? There are some meals that I can do the whole thing except for cooking on the weekend. For example, we have a sausage bake probably at least every other week where I have chicken apple sausage. I cut it up, dice it up into little half moons, and then I dice up red peppers and onions, and I mix it all together with olive oil and some seasonings. I can do all of that prep before, long before I need to actually cook it. So I'll prep that whole thing on the weekend when I'm hanging out with my family, we're watching a show, and I can be dicing veggies at the same time, right? So, what full meals can I prepare ahead of time this week? Maybe you're going to put chicken in the crock pot and you have a marinade that you know you really like with it. You can literally put that in a bag, put the marinade on, and have it ready to go to put in your crock pot on the day that it's ready, right? You can just identify from your meal plan list which meals could you possibly make ahead of time if you wanted to. That, especially on busy nights where you're I know I'm not going to have time to dice all that stuff up, I can do it on the weekend before, that sort of thing. I also ask myself, what snacks can I prepare ahead of time for the week? So I'm just the worst at snacking. I want convenience. I just want something quick and easy. So if I can take a little bit of time up front to make healthy choices convenient, like cutting up carrots, cutting up celery, things like that, that really helps throughout the week for me to snack on something that is healthier, but also hits that convenient need. So meal prep is going to be different for everybody. What I first do is I ask myself those 2 questions, and then I literally make a plan. I write it out right here. If I'm making that sausage bake, I'm going to write down chop up sausage, dice veggies, dice red peppers, dice onions, whatever it might be that I need to do. I make this little checklist for myself, and then I just go through it one thing at a time and I check it off. Other easy things to prep: washing your fruit ahead of time. Always, instead of, if I need an onion for something, instead of buying 1 onion, I buy the bag of onions and I just dice them all up. I have this really great chopper thing that one of my friends told me about. It's a lifesaver. Makes dicing so easy. I'll try and remember to put the link for that below there too. But literally you just have to cut stuff up into the right size and then you stick it through the chopper and it's so fast. So I guess that would be my other suggestion as well is investing in a few, I mean, this chopper was like 20 bucks. It was not a big deal, but investing in a few tools that make your meal prep a lot easier. But again, I will say it's really up to you. If you don't want to meal prep, you don't have to. It's okay. It's all right. But if you do want to meal prep, I would think through, what do I have on my list this week that I really could make ahead of time that would make my future days easier? All right? That's the important question. All right. Thank you so much for hanging out with us all month long, talking about meal planning. I've had so much fun with you. We have that freebie for you. I'm going to go over every single thing that was in the freebie. So it is our collection of meal planning cheat sheets. The link will be down below. It includes a theme dinner plan worksheet for theme nights. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. It includes the whole worksheet for the Eat What You Got strategy. It includes that meal prep worksheet that we just talked about. And it includes a seasonal meal plan worksheet for every single season of the year. So there you go, all 4. You'll also find even more resources inside of our Anchored Women meal planner. I've got one right here. This is an older version of it. The new one is brand newly designed. It's beautiful. I love it so much. It's very pretty, but it gives you an entire year's worth of space to plan out your meals. The great thing about this is that you can literally fill it out once and you can use it over and over again year after year if you want to. You can print out a brand new one. It is undated, or you can just use the same one because you already meal planned for a whole year. It also includes important stuff like conversions and seasonal produce and the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen and all kinds of things that are just helpful for you when you're meal planning and cooking. So I will drop a link for that meal planner below as well. All right, friends, this was a long video. Thanks for hanging out with us. I hope that answering some of these questions gave you some good ideas for your own meal planning process. If you didn't catch any of our last videos, we've been talking about meal planning all month long, so make sure that you take a look at those, and we will see you back here next month. Bye, guys.